Welcome to Artwork Archives Collection Management webinar, Collection Access Made Easy, Simplify Requests, and Streamline Sharing. That's me. I'm Elysian Kogelmeyer. I am with the Artwork Archive team. I'm head of partnerships. I've been with Artwork Archive for 9 years, which has been gone by so fast. It's been a wonderful near decade of providing this free educational content. I lead our collection management webinars. Here at Artwork Archive, we believe in the impact of providing these free professional resources for those working within collection management. We also have a number of resources for artists and private collectors. And as a business, we are an online collection management system. And so we help organizations and collectors and artists inventory, manage, share out their artworks and their objects. And so we are really well suited to present this content about creating access to your collection. We're seeing our clients doing the work. We have some really great best practices. And I do have to say that this topic actually came out of feedback, came from requests from those that have been attending our webinars. They wanted more content about collection management system best practices. So we are diving into this one to help you save time, streamline your workflows. And so I'll be using Artwork Archive as an example, but if you're using a different CMS, feel free to take those best practices and employ them in the work that you are doing. So let's get into the meat of the presentation. So we have the reality of collection requests. If you work with a collection, you're constantly being asked for information. Some examples may be a scholar wants object details, an insurer needs documentation, a curator requests images and provenance, leadership wants a report. And the challenge it's usually not the request itself, it's finding, verifying, and packaging the information quickly. And so when records are scattered across spreadsheets, folders, shared drives, email threads, physical folders, if you have file cabinets in the back of the museum, every request becomes a mini research project. You probably don't have time for that or the staff for that. And so when that happens, you have common bottlenecks. So the information living in multiple places, your records may be incomplete or outdated. Staff, you have to recreate the same information repeatedly. Files and documentation are difficult to locate because they're not with the object information. And knowledge may live with specific people. I get to know folks from different institutions that say that all of the collection information is in the curator's head. And when that person retires and leaves, there's going to be no record of all of the great works. And so making sure that all this information is put into a centralized database. And so with all of that, with those bottlenecks, you have your hidden costs, which is lost staff time, delayed responses, inconsistent information, and then increased risk during loans, insurance reviews, and exhibitions. And we have a number of webinars and articles about reducing that risk, especially around emergency preparedness and insurance. But just something as simple as streamlining your workflow and centralizing your data can also help you reduce risk. So as I said, we're going to cover, oh no, I didn't say it. I'm saying it now. We're going to cover 5 common collection requests. So there's the scholar research inquiry that you may be receiving, an exhibition or loan request, insurance documentation, leadership or board reporting, and then public access and discovery. And with these common collection requests, we're going to focus on the tools that you have. For many of you, you're already using Artwork Archive. And so you have reports, structured professional documentation. You have access to private rooms, curated, shareable selections. You have access to public profiles and website embeds, which allows you to have ongoing access and discoverability for your collection. And then also just simple direct links and records, which are quick and lightweight and enable you to quickly send out the information you need to. So I am going to jump in to Artwork Archive to walk through some scenarios. We're going to see how these requests can be handled from a centralized system like Artwork Archive. And I used to be a track and field athlete. I like warm-ups. So before we jump into the scenarios, we're going to do a quick warm-up to make sure our database is up to date and has the information we need to share. So we're going to explore a single asset request, something light, jog into it. So imagine someone from your marketing team has asked for a high-res image of an artwork for the newsletter. Or your contract conservator needs the most recent treatment plan for an object they are restoring. We talk about a complete record. We're going to go into an object record that has this information. I'm going to show you how easily you can share it out without having to do email threads or search various locations. So I'm going to go, they asked for an image from the repast of the lion. I'm going to go into that object record. I see I have an image credit, so I know who to credit the image to send that information. I want to make sure I can share this image. So I'm going to look at the usage rights, which have been entered in the notes. And so I can see that they can share it for educational purposes. And then if I scroll down to original image files, you'll see that when a high-res image has been uploaded to an object record, you can download it, view it, or you can share it directly. So I can share this to my marketing teammate at the museum and send it along with the image rights and the attribution of the photographer. Then there's also the example of your contract conservator needs the most recent treatment plan because they're going to be restoring the work. If I scroll back up onto this object record, I go into additional files. I see that thanks to a previous conservator, they uploaded the treatment plan that they completed. And so I can see the treatment plan, I can view it, or I can, again, share it directly to the new conservator that will be working on this piece. And again, if I have the conservator saved within my contacts, I can quickly pull them up, or I can just enter the email and I can send over that treatment plan and check this box to make sure that I receive a copy of the comms in my email if I wish. So that's the warm-up. What happens when you have a complete record with all of the key information that you need to track for the various scenarios that we're going to go through. So hopefully everyone's all limber and ready for our first scenario, which is going to be a scholar research inquiry. So whether the request comes from inside or outside your institution, having your collection information organized, to no surprise, makes it easier for you to provide access without creating extra work. So here at Artwork Archive, we hear a lot of examples of institutions fielding requests from out-of-state scholars or from the college's faculty. So for this example, let's say that a professor teaching a landscape painting course wants information about your Winslow Homer works. They may want to bring the class in to view a work or two. So you have to decide what you are going to pull from storage, perhaps, or decide where in the museum you'll take them to. Or they may just want to share the scholarship with the class without viewing the piece. So for these types of requests, it takes no time to quickly create and share a private room, which is the best practice I will show. A private room is an artwork archive tool designed to help you easily prepare and share online viewing rooms exclusively with your chosen audience. And so it's just a more dynamic way to send information versus, say, a report, which we will also get into. And so I want to send this professor what we have available from Winslow Homer. So I'm going to go to artists under filters, and I'm going to find Winslow. There he is. I'm going to note and remember what we have of Winslow's in our collection. And I can see that we have 4. If I look at the brief overview, I can see actually that the bather is in transit because it's going to be on loan to the Museum of Bathers. So they won't be able to see it in person, but I can still share information about the artwork with them if they're curious about that piece. So I already created the private room. I'm going to show you what it looks like, and then we'll click into it and I'll show you some tips on creating a private room for those that have access to this tool using Artwork Archive. So I've created this private room for the Winslow Homer artworks that are in the collection. I'm going to show you what it looks like. After selecting the 4 works that I know that we have, I have created a private viewing room that lets the professor see what is available, learn more about the objects. So I have the didactic text that would be on wall labels. I can see the additional images. If I scroll down, you can include additional media and documents if you have those attached to your object record. So videos, maybe it's a time lapse of the artist being made. We wouldn't have that for Winslow because he painted so long ago, but for a contemporary artist or a curator's talk. Then you can attach documentation that may be helpful, some curatorial research, some letters from Winslow Homer, what you have to help preserve the historic legacy of the work. Exhibition, history, provenance, and then additional details that you want to include. So the professor can look at this and see what is available. You can decide what work would be helpful for his class to come in and view. And then he can send you a message right from this private room and let you know that they would like to see, the flower garden and bungalow, Bermuda. Or maybe they're not, like I said earlier in the description of this scenario, maybe they're just going to share this URL, share this link to the private room with their students so the students can research and learn more about Winslow. All right. I click it, I can see what works they're from. And then one benefit of the private room, or not one benefit, there's actually quite a few, is that with this workflow, you can quickly understand what you have to look through the filters. You can select what is, you can see what is available versus what is on loan to see what's on site. So you can quickly understand what you have. You can respond without digging through folders and emails. You can share information. So this is big. You can share information with a private room without large attachments or lengthy email threads. When you share this private room, they have access to view the works. You can give them, you can give whomever you're sharing this with the high-res image files so that, this is for an exhibition or a loan, they have access to that. And this way you don't have to, dig through long email threads or big Wheel D emails with attachments. It reduces the handling of fragile works. So maybe if these were works on paper and you don't want to bring them out all the time for students, or you can't, you can provide the information to them about the works. They can see, detail shots of the artworks if you have those, to learn more about the works without having to pull them for those fragile pieces. And then you're going to extend your access beyond your walls for researchers, educators, and students. And so with that, we go to our second scenario, which is you may field a exhibition or loan request. And many exhibition or loan requests start with a simple question before any paperwork begins. And it's something along the lines of, is this artwork available or is this collection available? And so a pain point you all may be facing is that you may have to search for all of the relevant works and determine availability, then gather the information and images and create a PDF packet manually and send it as a large email attachment. And then the conversation has to be updated with all the information that goes back and forth, which turns into a long and cumbersome email thread. And you have to repeatedly assemble all this for every loan inquiry. So you can do the same artwork archive workflow, or rather, not the same artwork archive workflow. You can create this. I'm forgetting what example I wanted to show. You can easily find what is available if they ask, and send them the information about the piece, if it is a loan inquiry and you just need to get the conversation started. So the request may be, we're interested in borrowing Winslow Homer's The Bather in 2028 for an exhibit devoted to his seascape works. Great, let's go find The Bather. So let's see its availability. I'm going to click into the object record. Okay, so it is on loan, just jogged my memory, and it's on loan to the Museum of Bathers. But good news, I can see on the object record that the loan ends in April of 2027, so it would be available for an exhibit in 2028. So if I talk with my team and our conservators and we have decided that it is in good shape to loan again in the following year after this exhibit, I can pull together the information that this lending institution needs to consider loaning the artwork. So you can create a catalog page, which is a type of report within Artwork Archive, to easily pull information about the piece and send it over to the institution as a PDF. You don't have to do any mail merging or creation of a PDF on your desktop. You can do it all from your collection management system. This is in addition to the private rooms option. So if I open the report that I've created, you can see that I'm including all the information that would be helpful for this loan. The recent appraisal information, the insurance values, the provenance. And then if I click these blue hyperlinks, I'll see, I'll be able to download the high-res images as we converse about this loan request. And so this is really slick and easy to create within Artwork Archive. You'll have it saved here. So if you need to send it, maybe you're sending this to the lending institution, you can send it directly from Artwork Archive. Say you forgot to include a field, you can go back and edit the report and select the information you need. If you get a lot of exhibition or loan requests and you're creating this type of report often, you can create this report as a template. So all you have to do is change out the artworks that are included in the report. All of the fields that you are sending over, all the information is saved within the template. So if I scroll down, you can see with a check of a box, I'm including the insurance values. And if there's multiple pieces, the report will total it. And decide with a check of the box what information I need to include. Maybe I forgot to provide the inventory number, the acquisition number. And then our filters are here for you to quickly find the pieces. So maybe this isn't just for the Bather. Maybe the request was for all of Winslow Homer's works. So you can filter by the artist and pull all those pieces into the report. So what happens if you get a request for multiple works for an upcoming exhibition? So you may get a request from someone that they're interested in borrowing works for, say, Joanne Albert's, from your Joanne Albert collection for their upcoming exhibition. Traditionally, this means gathering images, dimensions, condition information, values, and availability from multiple places. And then again, often recreating the same packet for every inquiry, for every exhibition inquiry. So I'm going to show you how you can create a private room similar to the Winslow Homer Works for this upcoming exhibition request. So first, I need to see what we have of Joanne's. So I'm going to go again back to filters. And I'm going to filter by Joanne. I can even drill down and see what we have available as a status. And so we have a lot of works available that we can send over for this exhibition request. So I'm going to create and share a private room to show them what we have available and to provide them all the information they need. So it may be its current condition, any installation requirements, the values, images. So I'm going to go back to private rooms. I'm going to scroll past that Winslow Homer example, because another great thing is as you're creating these private rooms, there's no limit. It's a question I get often is there a limit to the number of private rooms I can create? There's no limit. So you can create them as the inquiries come in. You can duplicate the private rooms if you get very similar inquiries, similar to copying those reports. I'm going to have this private room available for Joanne that I can share with this partner institution that is interested in exhibiting her works. And so I have created this private room to show all of the works that are available. If I click in, I can just make sure that I'm including the key information, the insurance values. What's great is a private room is also a great collaboration tool. So not only are you sharing the information about the works, but if they are selecting a few from this selection, whomever you are partnering with and is considering, they could favorite a work. And, so this is one of the works that they're selecting for their upcoming exhibition, and you'll see that they have favorited it. Or they can inquire and say, I love this piece, but it's very similar to something that we already have in our permanent collection. Do you have anything from her more linear graphic works? And again, that message will be saved and in your artwork archive inbox on the private room so you can see what they have gotten back to you with any feedback. And if they were interested in a collection that had multiple artists, maybe there were 3 artists that they're interested in exhibiting from your collection, you would have the 3 artists here. If I click in and scroll down to Joanne, you also can include her bio and any information about her process, her website, for them to also have at the ready for their exhibition. I'm going to scroll back up and out and show you that, again, you can share this directly from Artwork Archive. And so if I go back to the private room and click share, I can share via email, or I can copy the link and paste it from my own Gmail or Outlook email that I have. And what's great is you'll see the shares on the private room, but also, this lender may already be entered into your contacts. So if I go to Elysian, I have a contact record for her. So if I go back to my private room and share it with Elysian, she comes up because I have her saved as a contact record. Here are the available works. And I send it. then that share is now going to be on Elysian's contact record. Oh, it's coming because I just sent it. And so it'll say that you shared a private room with Elysian. And I have her listed within my contacts so I can easily send her more information or have her contact information if anything comes up. If I go back to that private room, oops, for those that are using Artwork Archive, it's really easy to create them. Let's go to edit so you can see the fields. We just gave private rooms a refresher. So for those that are using Artwork Archive, this may look new because she just got a glam up. And so now you have a lot more options for making it look professional and aesthetically pleasing and to provide more information easily. So you can include a header image, maybe from that artist. You can decide what color you want the font to be to go with it, and then provide the title, the subtitle, the description, any information that you need to include in the private room to help the conversation. And then just again with a toggle, you can decide how the work is being displayed, what information you are going to include. So again, you don't have to pull all this information from separate records. If it's stored on your object record, you're just selecting the fields and then it'll be included in the private room. And just like the reports, if you go to filters, you'll see that you can quickly pull artworks from a myriad of different types of filters from your database, whether it's the artist or the location, or maybe for all of your donations, whatever it may be. And so the key takeaway for this scenario is that you can move from request to response quickly while maintaining visibility into your communications with those messages, with the favorites, and maintaining visibility into the agreements and the responsibilities because you have put forth the information needed for the loan or the exhibition, and so moving you forward towards an agreement with your lender. Okay, the third scenario, insurance documentation. You may get a request that said from someone that they need updated records and documentation. Maybe an insurance rider needs to be updated. So someone from your team needs that information. Or unfortunately, you may have a loss or a damage event. And so you need to get information over to your insurance provider. Unfortunately, this is often when institutions discover what's missing from their records. Traditionally, staff may need to locate current images, find valuation records, search for condition reports, and then have to assemble all this documentation manually. And again, if your request is following a loss or a damage event, time matters, and so you're often scrambling with urgency. So what's great is that you can create a report very quickly. We talk about this a lot in our insurance webinars with Huntington T Block. You can create a report very quickly to send over that have all of the information you need, attached supporting documents already linked to the objects. And you can save this as a template again within your reports. I'm going to pretend like someone just asked for an updated insurance information for a location they're updating the insurance rider for the main campus building. So I'm going to go into my locations. I'm going to find the main campus building on our campus. And then as you can see, I can see what pieces are there. The system totals the values. We also have sublocation and tertiary location tracking, so you can drill down to specifically where the pieces are, maybe in a wing, a department, an office. If it's a storage facility, it may be a drawer, a hanging rack, whatever it may be. And then I have additional files that I can send off as well. But if I need to send over a report for insurance, I'll most likely be creating an inventory report, which I can do right from the location record. And once I select the inventory report and fill it out, complete it, it will then be saved in my reports tool. Let's view it and see what this looks like, what I can send over to update the insurance rider. So here I have a very clean report that was generated in seconds with just a few clicks of a button, including the total values. I can click to include the latest appraisal values. I can even include the appraisal documentation. Images, most likely, especially in the state of loss, I can send over the images of the works. Condition. And so if I have been including my condition notes and the recommendations from the conservator, I can see that on the report as well. This information is also, I missed calling it out in the Joanne example, but on an object record, if I'm including any condition summaries, recommendations from the conservator that have been included on the object record, that can be sent to the lending institution. So they can note the condition, the current condition summary, the issues that the artwork may face, the recommendations, and then if it's suitable for loan or not. Maybe it's not suitable for loan because too much of the paint is lifting. And then also for an artwork record, there's a lot of key information that you should be storing in one centralized place in an object record for insurance purposes. So if I click back into repast of the lion, the object record, for insurance, you'll want to make sure you have all of your images, your additional images, which again, I showed you early on, you can share directly from the object record. You'll want the values of the purchase price, but also the insurance values, especially in place for loss. The condition notes. And so we may have some condition notes here, along with the treatment plans and addition files. The location information, so where the work is. And then any additional attached documentation. So again, the treatment plan being example or the certificate of authenticity to prove ownership along with provenance notes. And what's great is, again, with these reports, you can share it directly. So you can share it with, say you're working with Huntington T Block and you have your Huntington T Block rep in your contacts. I can share it directly with Adrian. And maybe I owe her the updated insurance rider. I can set a reminder for her. Maybe next Tuesday, I need to send updated insurance rider. So make sure I don't lose sight of any key comms or to-dos. And then these reminders are saved within the schedule as well. And so this is a great way to track loans, works that are going to be in, out, your exhibitions, what's being installed, de-installed, to keep track of all of that. You can sync it to your calendar. You can check it off when it's done. So the key takeaway for the insurance scenario is that you can create professional insurance documentation directly from existing records without manually compiling information, pulling from this object record, going to someone's desktop, asking the curator if they have the images that were sent over from the photographer in their email, and then having to compile all of that and send it over to insurance. It's all within the object record. It's all being stored within a particular location. And so you can quickly create a report or a private room and share out that information to your contact. And even better, if that person is saved within your contacts, then you can quickly send it to them and then track that you have sent it to them on their contact record. Fourth scenario, leadership, board meeting. Yay. So you get a request to pull something, can you pull together a collections update? Traditionally, this means exporting spreadsheets, maybe counting acquisitions manually, compiling statistics, building reports and PDFs from scratch. And so your staff spends time gathering that data instead of analyzing it, which perhaps would be more helpful. And so with an artwork archive or your collection management system, you can use filters and reports and dashboards to quickly generate accurate summaries. And so a great example is if you go to your insights, this system already compiles a lot of that information that you can just show with a screen share of what you have where. Maybe you have campuses across the country, offices across the world. You can show the values across your locations. Really helpful for museums and public art programs and academic institutions. You can show the spread of your artists who are the most collected. Maybe this instigates a conversation about collecting more female artists or more artists of color. And so, having a conversation around acquisition strategies for the coming years. Values, if the value of your collection has changed over time. And if you're purchasing or selling artworks, we have galleries that use us or nonprofits that have fundraisers. You can track that as well. You can also create a catalog page to report out. Maybe the question is about the recent acquisitions that you have made over the past year. You can create a catalog report, beautiful, large image per artwork with the key details that you want to include. And so this could be 2026 acquisitions. I want to include information about the artists. I want to include the description. Maybe you were talking about the condition of the works as well. How it came into your collection. You can include acquisition details. And then this is fun. Within filters, maybe it's for the 2026 year. One of your filters is you can filter by the date that the work was added to your collection. So you can filter by January 1st, 2026 to December 31st, 2026 to pull all the pieces that were acquired and generate the report and send that over to leadership. And so a key takeaway for this one is that reporting becomes a byproduct of maintaining good records. So as long as you are entering that information into your object records, you can quickly turn it around and send it out to those that need to be in the know, whether it's through a report, a private room. And for our last scenario, with public access and discovery, not every request comes through email or phone call. Sometimes the goal is making collection information available before someone ever needs to ask. And so this traditionally often requires website development, IT support, maybe duplicate data entry to get it up onto your website from your database, and then ongoing maintenance. And so a benefit of those using Artwork Archive is you can increase the public access of your collection while reducing administrative effort by using public profiles, website embeds, linking your database, your collection management system directly to your website. And so you're making it more accessible. And I have some great examples from our clients. One being from the Van Avery Smith Galleries at Davidson College. They make the artworks of theirs public. They create collections within, and so they have collections based off of departments. You can see the Africana Studies, architecture, but they also have an art lending program, one for staff, the art and office, and then one for students, ArtMate. And I wrote an article about this. And so what they do is what with students who are interested in loaning artworks for the year in their dorm room, they direct them to the public profile and they say, take a look at what is available and see what you like. So that when it's time to go sign up for a piece, they know what they want to select. And they just updated this. They've hyperlinked blog articles that ArtMaid participants and gallery interns wrote over the school year, which is wonderful. The students can also learn about the artists. I go to an artist record. I can learn more, read the bio, see the works of theirs. And then they also embed all of this great information onto their website. And so they embed their collections onto their Davidson College website. And so I can see all of the campus sculpture artworks and view it on their website. This is just one line of code that they copied and pasted into their HTML, and it's pulling all the information that they're recording onto their artwork archive account to keep their website up to date. So if they acquired a new piece for their campus sculpture collection, and they entered in artwork archive and made it public, it would be on their website. Another great example comes from another academic institution, the Berman Museum of Art, Ursinus College. They had an incredible endeavor in which they have the largest archive of Francois Gillot's artworks and archival works. And so they digitized this collection to bring it online. And so you can see the collection here on their public profile, but they also embedded it onto their website. So if I go to the Francois Gillot collection, I can scroll down and learn more about Francois and see the works of hers in the collection. I can search and find out more. This is a great example. So this piece may not be publicly viewable, in a gallery, but it is in storage. And so maybe I make a request to see the work if I'm going to visit the campus and I'm studying this piece. I know a lot of those on the webinar are coming from museums and academic institutions, but we have public art programs that are also using this website embed functionality. I always love showing Arts New Orleans. They include an interactive map, also helpful for universities, especially if you have a large spread. So you can show where works are in various buildings, maybe across town. And so you can see what artworks are where and learn more. And I have a webinar just on the public sharing part of this platform. It's included at the end of the slides and resources. So if you're interested in this more public facing side of things, sharing your collection out, I have a webinar on it. We have articles. I'm also happy to demo it. We've written a lot about accessibility with Title II, and so making sure that your website is accessible for screen readers, etc. And so we have a lot of content on how you can make the content that you are bringing online accessible. So across all of these scenarios, there's the main thread of the goal isn't simply just storing collection information. It's not like an archive or like a storage cabinet where the files are going to live in the manila folders and collect dust. It's making information accessible so that you can share it when someone needs it, whether it's a researcher, a lender, an insurer, a colleague, member of the public. Your centralized records help you respond faster, reduce duplication, improve consistency, and collaborate more effectively, and spend less time recreating the same work. So if you're thinking about how to streamline requests and improve access to your collection information, we hope this webinar helped, especially if you're using Artwork Archive, reminding you of the features there that can help you save time. And feel free to reach out if you have any questions about that flow. I'll send out these slides afterwards. It's a short little slide deck because these are hyperlinked links to video tutorials, articles I've written, webinars we've hosted in the past that cover similar content. And then you can always contact us and the team at me and the team at any time if you have any questions, if you're curious about learning more about Artwork Archive or reviewing any of the content that we have made in the past about collection management. So I wanted to make sure that we had time for questions. I'm glad there is time. Let me click into my Q&A. Let's see if we have. All right, so I have a question from Linda. Is there a record or audit trail for these types of excess? For example, could someone in a year go into the CMS and know such and such was shared via email or private room? Yes. There is, you will have record of sharing a private room. If I go back, or sharing a report, you'll see the shares. If you share an image directly via email, then that won't be logged, but on the private rooms and on the reports, if you I have to scroll down to show you. Let's see if we have any examples. You
Hey,
just click
Elysian.
reports. Yep.
Hey, I don't think you're sharing the screen anymore if you want
No,
to
I'm not.
make sure.
No, I'm
Okay,
not.
great.
Well, it's good because I needed to buy my time because I needed to find a report. This is why we have Anna. So if I go to reports and go back to this inventory report that was created, back in May in 2025, I can see that I shared it and see who I shared it with. And so I have a log of who I shared the report with. And you'll have a similar log for the private rooms as well. And you can see who you shared it with and when. I hope that answered the question. Any other questions?
We do have a follow-up on that actually, if you don't mind me just kind of jumping in here and sharing a follow-up on that in the chat. Trisha was asking in terms of sharing, when it comes to if they want to share just a link to a report, if there's a way to do that, what would be our best practices, our recommendation for that share?
Yeah, just sharing a link to the report, you have that optionality. I'm going to go back to the reports. And if I say I want to, instead of sharing directly from the system, that insurance report, if I can copy the URL and then now it's copied on my clipboard and I can send it via email or to like physically show you. If I view the report, you can send the link to the PDF. That is the URL that you would send.
And this isn't a question here, but something that has come up before, we've seen from time to time from organizations, especially with the new fancy, sparkly private room updates.
Mhm.
Do we want to share kind of their recipients' view and experience with a private room of how they would interact with it?
Yeah. So, without getting into my email inbox, I should have had like a screenshot. If you send a private room to, say, a neighboring museum that is interested in a body of works from your collection, and you send them the URL, they'll receive the link to the private room via email. And it will be an email that says you've been invited to view this private room and you'll click in to access it. I believe you enter your email to confirm that so you can message the lender, the person sending the private room. But what they see when they click into that private room is what I was showing with the preview. It's just this beautiful view. You click to preview, you can see, if you click preview, you can see what your intended audience will see. And so I'll click in and I can see the message that I've included, and then I can click into the pieces and learn more about them. But they'll receive the invite to the private room via email.
No other questions that I'm seeing so far. This has been a really great overview. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. It's always a pleasure to create these educational resources. Next month, there will be a webinar about public art collections and about preserving your collection after the install, what to do after the ribbon cutting. So stay tuned if you're interested in a public art collection webinar at the end of July. It was lovely to see you all. Feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions at info@artworkarchive.com or jump on the chat on the site, and we're happy to be of help. Thanks, everyone.